welcome back to my channel. So I'm back in front of my vanity filming instead of over by my window, and that's because today is the first day here in Charlotte where it's like in the 90s and people are just flooding the pool. Our window to our apartment faces the pool and it is loud out there. So had I filmed by the window, it would have been super loud. In fact, you might still hear like people laughing and talking and stuff like that, and that's just people outside my window having fun in the sun. So anyways, this video is going to be my products on the chopping block tutorial. So the last video that I posted, I think it's going to be the last video that I posted, I talked about some products that are kind of on the chopping block for me, meaning I kind of want to get rid of them, but I wanted to try them out one more time before I just completely decided to throw them out. Sometimes when I declutter things, I have a little bit of remorse because I get rid of stuff and then I'm like, shoot, I kind of want to try that product again, you know what I mean? So I figured this would be a good way to like retest the products to make sure I truly don't like them before I just like cut it off, you know what I mean? Get rid of them. So yeah, I have no makeup on right now and we're just gonna walk through and use some of those products that are on my decluttering chopping block. Okay, so I have two primers. I have a face primer and an eye primer. For the eye primer, this is the Catrice Prime and Fine eyeshadow primer. I thought I liked this, but as I started to use it more and more, I noticed that my eyeshadow started creasing very, very heavily. And so I switched back to an eyeshadow that I love, or an eyeshadow primer that I know and love, the NARS one, and my eyeshadow doesn't crease anymore. So I have a feeling, of course, that that was because this eyeshadow primer isn't as good as the NARS one. It is a drugstore eyeshadow primer and it works well for the price, but it's just not my favorite eyeshadow primer, you know what I mean? And since I own better ones, it's kind of like, why would I use one that doesn't work as well? So there's that. For facial primer, oopsie, dropped that on the floor. For facial primer, this is the Becca Backlit Priming Filter. The reason why I didn't like this before is because I had really oily skin. More recently, my skin has gotten really dry. In fact, it's kind of dry today. So this might be one of the perfect days to kind of test this out and see if this works. So the purpose of this primer is it's supposed to add like a little bit of, does that have a smell to it? I thought I got a whiff of like citrus. A little bit of like luminosity, and I can totally see that when I put this on my face. And it's supposed to work really well for people with dry skin. So it's basically supposed to give you like a backlit, hence the name backlit primer, just glow to your skin. So you guys can probably tell already just how kind of glowy it's making my skin. Do you see like the sheen? Okay, the next product on the chopping block for me is a foundation, and this is the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I've had this for a while. It's old. It's probably ready to get rid of anyways. But the reason why I don't like it is because, again, with the dry skin, this really emphasized the dry... Wait, hold on. Backing up. With the oily skin, this really used to emphasize the oil in my skin. And then I tried it with dry skin and it emphasized the dry patches in my skin. So I'm like, I don't really understand what kind of skin type actually benefits from this product. However, people love this stick foundation. It's like a holy grail foundation for a ton of different people, and I just can't seem to get it to work for me. So today I figured I would use it with a spray. This is the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist Spray. So I figured I can like spray my beauty blender before I blend it in, and maybe that will help. I don't know. I honestly have no idea how to make this product work. I also thought, well, maybe since I'm using it with the Backlit Primer by Becca, maybe together, I don't know. I have no idea. So we're just gonna give it a shot. We're gonna try it again. I also have the liquid version of this foundation that I also am just not too crazy about. And that one, I tried it a couple of times and it's probably gonna be on the chopping block next time, but anyways, this is the stick version of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this all in. and then we'll take a closer look at my skin. Okay, so I zoomed way in, so I hope you guys can see. And of course, never mind my under eye bags and my eye area, because I'm gonna use concealer for that. But the funny thing is, the foundation looks really good in certain places, like right here on my cheeks. It looks so good, and that's probably because that area of my cheek is really good. Like there's no texture, there's not a lot of oil, there's not a lot of dry patches. It looks really, really good. But then I turn to places like my chin, but it looks so just like cakey and patchy and just not good. Also, there's areas of my forehead where it just looks, it almost looks like just thick, but it's not a thick foundation because you can still see like freckles and discoloration and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think I'm ready to call it quits with this foundation. I just can't seem to get it to work. Okay, for my horrendous under eye bags, we're going to use the Tarte Shape Tape, and I cannot believe that this is in my products in the chopping block. I cannot believe I'm actually considering getting rid of this product. It's crazy to me. This is actually the concealer I wore on my wedding day, but the thing is, it's super duper thick. It's so thick to the point where I feel like it looks really, really cakey under my eyes and just heavy. And it really does emphasize like all of the lines. Like you can see all of my lines, all of my wrinkles anytime I use this. So today I figured I would use it with that same Tatcha mist. This really is like a magic mist if you have dry or aging skin. Sometimes just adding a little bit of like light oil or luminosity to your products will really help them look more natural and less drying on your like aging or dry skin. So I'm gonna try that with the Tarte Shape Tape today. I do really think that there's a time and place for this product, which is kind of why I might just save it. I'm also gonna put it on some of these areas of my face that the foundation just made look horrible. Like it's perfect for weddings or long wear, but just close up, it doesn't always look the best. So I'm gonna spray my beauty blender and blend it in. I also feel like it's really, really creasy, which isn't too surprising. Honestly, most concealers crease on me near immediately, and that's because again I do have the fine lines under my eyes, but you know, it's supposed to be a creaseless concealer and it's not for me. Okay, so I zoomed you guys in again, and God, my chin is just looking so bad. Can you guys see how textured and just like, and I exfoliated yesterday, so I don't know, I don't understand why my chin looks so bad. But as far as the concealer goes, so you can see I put it on my eyelids are already creasing. So that primer doesn't work at all because immediately this eyeshadow or concealer is creasing on me. So Catrice eyeshadow primer is leaving. But the concealer looks really good. I mean, it covered up my bags, it blended in really good. It is starting to crease slightly, see that? Under my eyes right there. But I do think that spraying it with the Tatcha really, really helped to kind of make it look less drying and less heavy, and kind of helps to sheer it out. So I think I'm gonna hang on to the concealer and maybe use it for more like formal makeup. I don't think I put it in my crevices of my nose. You can see the foundation has caked up right there, see it? Oh, I'm trying to like blend it out. Okay, so to set everything, well, to set my under eyes, I'm gonna use this Laura Mercier powder. So this is another one that's on the chopping block for me. The reason being is I do feel like it is very, it's very cakey. And I think that this was kind of like the original. This is a brand new one too, which is crazy. I've had it for years. I bought it at like Fame Expo, brand new, because I had one that I was using that I thought I loved, so I bought this as my backup, and then when I was using the other one, I discovered I didn't love it. Whatever. The thing is, there's been so many powders that have been released since this one that I feel like this one just doesn't level up to the new formulations that have come on the market. I think there's more powders that are more finely milled, more soft, more smooth, more blendable, more skin-like, and this one, anytime I go back to it, just seems heavier. Do you know what I mean? So it's, again, funny because this is something that I used on my wedding day, and it's something I used all the time. I mean, this is my second package of it. So it's just very odd to me that I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of it, you know what I mean? So I thought I'd give it one more shot to kind of bake my under eyes with, and we'll see how it does. Okay, while I let this set and bake, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. I don't have any eyebrow products that are on the chopping block for me right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my standard eyebrow products, and I will be right back. Okay, so now we're gonna dust off the bake, and I will say, as I was doing my eyebrows in my like magnified mirror back there, it just confirmed how much I hate that foundation. Like, it was all stuck in my eyebrows and like right in my forehead. It emphasizes all my pores, and it's just not the foundation for me, and that's okay. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm just one of the people that doesn't like it. So, okay, so to set the rest of my face, I'm actually gonna talk about this palette right here. So this is on the chopping block for me as well. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Glowy Pretty Skin Palette. I bought this as my way to kind of test out a bunch of Charlotte Tilbury powder products all at once. And there are parts of it that I like, and there are parts of it that I don't like. I have a feeling the formulation of this palette isn't the same as their like larger normal pans of palette, like blushes and bronzers and stuff like that. So this palette has a setting powder in it, 2 blushes, a bronzer, and 2 highlighters. The highlighters, one of them I like. The thing is, they're not really highlighters, they're more of like a glow from within powder. So if you're somebody who's looking for a lot of glow, you're not really gonna get something like that from this palette. The blushes are so super faint that I feel like you can't really even see them. And then the setting powder is the wrong color for me. It's the color 2, I'm the color 1. And the bronzer works, but the pan is so small that my bronzer brush doesn't fit in it. So there's pros and cons. It was a very expensive palette, so I would like to hold on to it and use the products that I at least like the highlighter. But I figured that we can at least use it today. So I'm gonna use the setting powder that is too dark for me to set my face today. Again, with the face powder and the bronzer, I feel like the pans are so small that it's just hard to get like a face brush or a bronzer brush in there, which makes the product almost unusable, you know what I mean? And also, the fact that this is the wrong color for me, it's just one color too dark for me. And I feel like I could definitely pull it off in the summertime like it is now. As long as I drag it down and make sure my neck matches, I feel like the color difference isn't like a make or break thing, you know what I mean? And the normal pan of this in the color 1 like I have is beautiful. It's their Flawless powder, or whatever it's called, their airbrush Flawless powder, which is an amazing setting powder that I used on my wedding day. I use it all the time. It's great to set your under eyes with. It's just a really, really good all over face powder. It's just, you know, the fact that they only offered it in one color in the palette and the pan size is what's getting me. Okay, moving on to eyeshadow. The chopping block product for me is this right here, the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette. I adore this palette, you guys. It is beautiful. Look at how pretty just the palette itself is. The packaging is pretty, the colors are pretty, I love looking at it. When you open it up, oh, it's just beautiful. The colors inside of it are so pretty. It's right up my alley. It's pinks, but it's nudes, so it's like pinky nudes. You got glitters, you got shimmers, you have these really unique like marbled colors. The mattes they're beautiful. The powder is really soft and smooth. The thing that I don't like about this palette is I feel like the colors stain my eyelids. And they make my eyelids really super duper itchy. So it's kind of like, do I wear it occasionally and endure the itch, or do I get rid of it? And the thing is, I paid full price for this. It was a very expensive palette. It was like $65. So I want to love it. I want to use it. And somebody brought this to my attention. There's actually a primer in the palette called Concealed. It's a cream primer. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually use that today as a primer, and hopefully that will prevent the itchiness and the irritation from happening on my eyes. Also, the Catrice primer didn't really do anything, so I'm gonna need some sort of eyeshadow primer anyways. So I think maybe that was my downfall, is I wasn't using this. I didn't realize that it was a primer. I thought it was just an eyeshadow. So I think with using this, it's really gonna help. Now, I'm not gonna do a check-in at the end of the day to show you guys like, hey, it stained my eyes, because when I would experience that, it would be from me using the palette multiple days in a row. So I'm just gonna see if my eyes start itching like they used to, just from using the palette today. So I'm gonna do a quick eye look using this. I'm gonna try to use as many colors as possible, and then we'll check back in. Okay, well, so far so good with that eyeshadow. My eyes aren't itchy right now, and before they would almost instantly start itching and almost like burn throughout the whole day. And I do really like the look that I ended up with. It's like on the pinky side, which is kind of fun for summer and spring. It's gonna look totally different once I have lashes and liner on. But yeah, so far so good. And I'm hoping that using this concealed shade will prevent it from staining my eyelids like it does sometimes. So I think I'm gonna hang on to this for a little bit longer, use it for multiple days in a row, and see what it does to my eyelids. But it is a good sign that it's not instantly burning my eyes, which is something that it used to do. So I think, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So moving along to eyeliner, this is something that used to be a holy grail item for me for decades, I would say. I started using this in high school, which means I started using it when I was like 16. I think when I got my first job and I had my first paycheck and I was able to buy my own makeup and stuff, I went to Ulta and this is one of the first things that I purchased. So it's the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil. I've gone through probably close to 50 like pencils of this. And then I branched off and started to use different eyeliners, and I have discovered more that I like. The thing with this is I find that it collects into my tear ducts and then almost kind of smears throughout the day. And I was using this in conjunction with the Catrice eyeshadow primer. So perhaps that is why it did that, because I don't remember it collecting like that or creasing like that back in the day when I used to use it. So I'm gonna use this to do a thin line on my upper lids and then my waterline. And then towards the end of the video, we'll see if it started to collect and like look weird. All right, so before I put falsies on, I'm going to move on to the mascara that's on the chopping block for me. So this is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, although mine is called Better Than Love. So I don't know. This was sent to me in PR, so I know it's like a true legit product from Too Faced, but I don't know why it's called Better Than Love versus Better Than Sex. If anybody knows, let me know in the comment section down below. I don't know if it was like a limited edition thing or what. But anyways, this again used to be a holy grail product for me. I loved it, used it all the time, and then I started venturing off and trying different mascaras and fell in love with different mascaras. And then when I went back to this, I noticed that it was just very different. I feel like the wand is very big, it's very messy, I feel like I get it all over my eyelids, and it just isn't the mascara that I used to know and love. So I'm gonna put this on today without curling my lashes so I can see what it really does to my lashes, and then we'll put falsies on top of it. But I wanted to test this out before the falsies. Well, after one coat, I can already say I'm very underwhelmed. This reminds me a lot of like a very watery, almost drugstore mascara, where it's nothing, I mean, it's a mascara, it coated my lashes, but it's not wowing me. Whereas I remember this mascara completely wowing me and almost making it look like I had false lashes and just giving me the best lashes in my life. And I'm not really getting that from this mascara. I feel like something like the Hourglass mascara or the Charlotte Tilbury mascara that are like relatively in the same price range just do a lot better. And I do feel like this is volumizing my lashes. Like it's making me look like I have fuller lashes, but it's not doing a whole lot for length, which I think is what I like in a mascara now. Okay, so here's what it looks like up close, and again, I feel like it volumized, but I just don't feel like it did a whole lot compared to like the Hourglass mascara or the Charlotte Tilbury mascara. And I'm almost wondering if I layered it with one of those, what it would do, because those are more lengthening, whereas this one is more volumizing. So I wonder if using them both together would give me just like, you know, the best lashes of my life. So I am gonna hang on to the mascara. Also, I don't want to get rid of it. It's still a good mascara. I'll use it till it's gone. I can't give it to anybody, but yeah, I'm gonna try layering it with other mascaras, but I just don't remember it. I just remember it being a whole lot more wow. You know what I mean? Okay, so I put on some falsies and I lined the lash band with some black eyeshadow. But other than that, I haven't done anything else, and I'm liking the eyeshadow look. I'm actually liking from far away how everything looks, but the closer I get, not to beat a dead horse because I know the horse is dead, but that foundation is like wearing away very oddly in certain places. And I just, also, I noticed that the concealer is creasing pretty bad under my eyes. And it's only noticeable when I go like this. And I don't know in my day-to-day normal life I'm gonna be going like this all the time, but I notice it. So anyways, that's that. Moving along to the rest of my face, so some cheeks and highlights. So I'm gonna go back to the Charlotte Tilbury palette for my bronzer, and I'm gonna use the bronzer in the palette and my normal bronzing brush. I mean, luckily the bronzer is on the edge of the palette, so I can kind of like, get my brush in there, you know what I mean? And the color it is really pretty. For my skin tone, it does seem to work really well. I mean, look at how pretty that bronzed my face. But it is definitely more of a sheer buildable bronzer, which I guess has a time and place. For the most part, I like my bronzer to be pretty opaque, not dark, but opaque, whereas this one is definitely more sheer and maybe natural, I guess. So I guess I'm just not used to using bronzers like that, which is why I was initially kind of like turned off by it, but it's not bad. It really isn't. Okay, for blush, I'm gonna go into the top blush, which is more of a pinky shade. And again, you'll see how sheer these are. I mean, look at that. Okay, now you can see it. Even then. I had to put 3 layers of this blush on for you to even be able to see it. Okay, my highlight on the chopping block is this Becca Opal highlighter. This is their Shimmering Skin Perfector Press, so it's the powder version of it. The thing is, I do love the color and I do love the formula, but as I progress in my like makeup life and just life in general, I don't particularly love the super blingy highlights anymore. I much prefer a more sheer, natural, everyday highlight. So that's why I think I do really like the highlighters in this Charlotte Tilbury palette, because it is more of a sheer palette now that I've discovered that. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. It is beautiful. But look at how, and I almost want to show, okay, it's really pretty, but it's a lot of highlighter, and like I don't feel comfortable walking into the doctor's office or the grocery store or the office at work, you know, with cheeks like this. I'm gonna put the Charlotte Tilbury one on the other cheek so you guys can see the difference and see what I mean. So something like this is definitely what I lean towards now, as opposed to something like this. You see the difference? This looks beautiful on camera, and there's a time and place, but I just prefer the more natural side now. Okay, lastly we have lips, and I'm gonna kind of zoom in just a little bit for lips. So this is the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in the color Gemini. It's not the color I don't like, it's the formula that's on the chopping block for me. I haven't used one of these lipsticks in a really long time, and the reason why is I feel like they dry out my lips instantly. The moment I put them on my lips, they feel dry. And I've noticed that it has trouble clinging to certain parts of my lips. like the inner part of my lips, I feel like it has trouble kind of clinging to that, and it ends up looking very strange on me. So I'm gonna try it again. It smells like root beer. Okay, so here's what it looks like on, and I don't mind it, to be quite honest. My lips are feeling really, really dry, and I think the root beer scent is like making my lips kind of itch and feel a little bit weird, but I do like it, and it did apply okay to like the inner part of my lips. So perhaps I was using a lip balm that didn't agree with the lipstick before or something like that, but I do really like it. So, but my lips do feel really dry. I think that's just how all liquid lipsticks are going to be for me though. It's kind of like, I've kind of just discovered that I'm not really a liquid lipstick fan. I'm just a bullet lipstick fan, so that's okay. The next lip product is the MAC Oh Sweetie. I think these are lip glosses. The thing I don't like about these is they are very metallic. They have a golden shift to them, and they all have that golden shift to them. So I'm struggling finding a way to wear these that I don't feel like, you know, Xenon girl of the 21st century with like metallic lips, because I don't like that look. So I think I'm just gonna dot this on the center of my lip. I do like that. I feel like it makes my lips look a little bit more just like plump. So I guess that's how I'm gonna have to wear these. It's just like dotting in the center of my lips, not all over. Alright guys, so that was my products on the chopping block tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed watching videos like that, or like this. As a recap, I am going to hang on to the Charlotte Tilbury palette. I don't love the Too Faced mascara, but I am going to hang on to it. I'm going to finish it up. I figured out how to use the Oh Sweetie lip gloss in a way that works for me, so I'm going to hang on to those, and the Jeffree Star. The Laura Mercier, I'm not ready to make a decision on this yet, so I'm going to hang on to it. The Becca I'm going to hang on to. I'm going to zoom in. It's only been like maybe 30 minutes since I've applied it, and you guys can already see, the product collecting in my tear ducts. By the end of the day, it just collects and collects and collects, and then flakes off and gets on my cheeks, and it smears. So I am going to get rid of the Urban Decay. The Hourglass foundation, this should be no surprise. I'm completely getting rid of this. I just don't like it. The Catrice eyeshadow primer, again, I don't like it. I'm getting rid of it. I don't think it works as well as some of the other eyeshadow primers that I own. And then the Huda Beauty Nudes. I am going to hang on to this. I'm going to try it for a couple of days in a row and see exactly what it does to my eyelids as far as staining and burning goes. But I don't have that initial burn like I used to. So overall, I am glad that I did this video, because I feel like I would have gotten rid of products that I actually really like. I just needed to give them another shot. It had just been a while since I had used them. So 3 of the products are being decluttered, and the rest, and the Too Faced I've decided I'm probably not going to buy again. So I guess this was a success, because I decided, you know, what I like and what I don't like, and saved myself from throwing away products that I do like. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed watching, and if you have any comments or anything like that, of course you know exactly where to leave them. But other than that, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.